Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features the Punisher War Journal number 18, cover dated May 1990. The cover, penciled and inked by Jim Lee, features a huge Frank Castle there, massive chest, shoulders, biceps, everything, and that really grim look on his face. The lighting there on the face, designed to show his face almost as a skull, reminiscent of the skull emblazoned across his huge chest. We've got the cover caption, "Every year Hawaiian vacations end safely and happily for more than 1 million people." They aren't in this issue. That's hilarious. And in the corner box, the cover corner box, we have Frank Castle there with guns in both hands, an Hawaiian shirt and a garland of flowers to welcome him to Hawaii. So hilarious that. So this is part 2 of a 3-part story. It is Jim Lee's penultimate issue, penciling the Punisher War Journal. So let's open this one up to the credits page. Carl Potts is credited with the story, Jim Lee with pencils, Al Milgrom with inks, Don Hudson with background inks, and Rick Parker letters, and finally Gregory Wright on the colors. So this picks up immediately from the end of the previous issue. Some shots that hit the cliff wall around Frank have blinded him with dust, and he's trying to get his bearings again. Only halfway up the cliff, he says in his journal, "Fully exposed out here, goons gunning for me from above and below. Got to keep moving up, feel my way, try to clear my eyes. Got to finish this before Micro walks into this trap these dope peddlers set for him. Got to save the bait they're using too. Got to save Tracy." So that catches readers up on what's going on, in particular any who missed the previous issue. The title of the story is Kahuna, and here's this guy who has the Punisher in his sights. So let's turn the page and see what happens next. Here are the goons up on the cliff's edge with Micro's niece, Tracy. And the leader guy says, "Dirk's getting impatient. Bud, drop that bird." So the guy's lining up the shot, and a gunshot goes off, but it's this guy who's been shot through the back, out the chest by Microchip there. I really like the way that Jim Lee has covered Microchip with the shadow of the foliage of the tree above him. So the guy falls dead to the ground, and now Microchip is looking out from the edge of the woods towards the cliff, and the guy's on top with his niece. Poor guy's trapped up there, so he can see more or less that who was being targeted, but he doesn't know it's Frank. He doesn't know it's the Punisher, but he can see Tracy on the cliff top being held by those two thugs. But where's her mother? Did they kill her in the time it took me to get from New York to Hawaii? So he's going over some of the plot points from the previous issue. Meanwhile, these other guys start shooting at the Punisher, and Microchip decides to help the guy because he reasons here. He says, odds don't look so hot for whoever he is. Maybe a local cop who stumbled onto this mess. Too far for accuracy with a handgun, but maybe I can make them duck and improve the odds. So he starts firing at them. We see the little bullets flying by there. It does distract them. Let's continue with the story, and it gives the Punisher a chance. So he's cleared the dust from his eyes. Time to get to work, he says. That's a great anchor image of him there, blasting away with the machine gun. Takes out those two thugs and continues the journey to the top of the cliff. So they're alert to him. I heard something back here where Lenny and Squid went down, says one of the guys. "All right, hotshot, show yourself nice and easy. San weapons, or the brat joins her dad 6 feet under." So Punisher thinks he's still breathing. Up he comes, but look, he's got the gun tucked into the back of his trousers there. The leader guy says, "Spill it, man. Tell us who you are. Who and what you are. DEA, give it to us now." So Punisher responds in the affirmative, "Okay." And it's not a gun. It's like a dart gun. So he shoots one of the guys in the hand there, and the leader chap starts blasting away, but Punisher's dodging those shots because Tracy pushes the guy from behind. She's loose now. And now we get a great image there of Frank punching the guy in the jaw. That's really good stuff. Good action sequence here. Good fight choreography in Jim Lee's art. Punisher here following up on that punch to the jaw with a boot to the jaw. But the guy is pretty strong. He comes back, gets the Punisher on the ground, tries to smash him with a rock there. And Frank is thinking to himself, also interesting to note, again, that trope of Jim Lee's in terms of layouts. He'll include every few pages a panel that has no border on it, and it keeps the visuals of the layouts interesting. Punisher thinks to himself in his journal, the device of the journal, I'm the Punisher, just doing my job. So the other guy with the dart through his hand, he's calling in reinforcements. Punisher's making progress on the leader. He tells Tracy to run, so they're running along the cliff's edge there, and the leader guys think he never met anyone who could match me in a physical fight. So the reinforcements are arriving up on the top of the cliff. This is pretty pacey stuff now, the way the story's being told here. The leader guy pushes Punisher and Tracy over the edge of the cliff. Punisher grabs his shirt and pulls him down too, so they're falling all the way down to the ocean. And Punisher thinks, got her in position. So he's got Tracy on his stomach. I'll hit first. Take most of them. He was about to say impact. And Microchip there has witnessed everything. But he's too far away to give any help. So let's continue. So we've got the Punisher and the guy fighting in the water. Tracy climbs to, or gets out of the water to the beach. Punisher's there thinking he's choking me. Force air into lungs, so he's fighting for his life there, and the wave starts carrying him out to sea, to the ocean. So the leader guy says he's knocked out. Undertow's got him, carrying him out to sea. The kid's out on the rock. There's one more guy in the jungle, so we can still use the brat, get a boat. So Microchip here, he sees that his niece is alive, but there's one of those goons searching for him in the jungle, in the forest, and then he's out of ammo. Can't believe it, out of ammo, he thinks. So he improvises, stands on this stick. This guy is just, what would we say, conveniently straddling this particular log. Microchip stands on the end of it and cracks the guy in his family jewels. So that's hilarious stuff. So he's out on the ground there, and Micro's grabbed his machine gun. And he's thinking here to himself, I've got to pull back, try to make some sense of all of this and come up with another plan to save Tracy and her mother. Okay, so let's continue. What about Frank in the sea? Well, this is an intriguing sequence where Tracy's shouting at him. Punisher is kind of half conscious. Girl wants me to reach out to her, but he's too far away. And then we get this memory of Frank's. And it's a flashback to his youth, and he's down at the beach with a bunch of young girls and a young friend as well, and he's encouraging the girls to go out into the sea, and he's saying there's nothing to be scared of. So he distracts his little friend there, grabs the inflatable, out to the sea he goes, and he falls asleep. Half an hour later, must have dozed off, and there he is in the middle of the ocean. Must be the Atlantic. I can't see the shore, just water for miles. Where am I? He exclaims, feels so small, helpless. And then he sees a boat, and the crew of the boat rescue him, and he hands back the inflatable to his young friend Myron. And Myron says, Myron was the one who called the Coast Guard to go looking for Frank. I didn't do it for you, idiot, he says. I only wanted my raft back. That's hilarious. And with that memory, Frank wakes up. So I think it's intriguing that Carl Potts gives us these little insights to what young Frank Castle was like before going to war, before going to Vietnam, before the tragedy in Central Park with his family. He was an ordinary boy, but he was adventurous and maybe quite risk-taking, and things didn't work out for him all the time, like in this situation. So he's got a little bit of trauma there, and he finds the situation repeated. Not again. What? Heading straight for me. There's a fin riding me into shore. I've read about dolphins helping stranded sailors. He thinks to himself. Didn't think it was true. And it is the Hawaiian female kahuna who has summoned the creature. Here they come, she says. My servant will have your Punisher here momentarily, Rikichi. So Rikichi's there. He says, Edith, your abilities are amazing. I could only sense that he was in trouble and roughly sense his whereabouts. So the Punisher has assistance. If he's assisting Microchip, he's got assistance from Rikichi, and now this Hawaiian kahuna as well, Edith. And so there's a little bit of talk there about her powers, and then Rikichi is talking about his interest in the Punisher and his old Grandmaster, who envisioned the Punisher as his top Western disciple. It's ironic, says Rikichi, the Punisher is also here secretly helping his friend Microchip from behind the scenes to free family friends from the clutches of ruthless drug dealers. Now a great kahuna magician is also secretly helping the Punisher. So many layers of secrecy. Good lighting here, good use of a little screen tone there as well. Like the lighting on Rikichi's face here. Jim Lee doing a good job with these different facial features and physiognomies than is usual for his style. And Rikichi continues, he says, with all of our abilities, neither of us can peer clearly and far enough into the future to see if our efforts will meet with success, that is saving the Punisher. Maybe it's better not to know. So they're going to do it anyway. Rikichi goes off his own way, saying to Edith, I trust we'll meet again someday. You're welcome, she says, be seeing you. And another vision is filling his head. Say, where's the nearest sporting goods store? So off he goes to the sporting goods store. We'll see what that's all about in the next issue. A minute later, Edith is down there at the edge, at the water's edge, to help Frank out of the water. Welcome back to dry land, she says to him. I thank and salute the shark spirit for his help. This is hilarious. So Frank is he's in shock. A shark? So he thought it was a dolphin, of course. This is a really nice page. You can see here Jim Lee doing good work with the storytelling. You know, there's no action on this page. It's the two old characters talking, Frank crawling out of the water, and the little comic moment there of realization on his part that it was a shark. But it's all handled so very well by Jim Lee. Really good stuff from him. And a reminder that he's a pretty good comics artist when he wants to be. So, and beyond just superhero stuff. No way this crazy woman could control a shark, thinks Punisher. No way, but how to explain what just happened? And we see the shark. We're given the image of the shark there under the water. So Edith tells him to come along. She'll fix him up. He says, I'm okay, nothing broken, no cuts worth mentioning. And this is really interesting. She says, I was referring to your fear. You were afraid of the open ocean. Nothing for miles around makes you feel insignificant. So Punisher's there. I don't know what you're talking about. He's denying it. And she says, you can call me Edith. Come along. My jeep's not far. I can teach you things. I can help you. I told you, he replies. I don't need any help. Then don't follow. So he thinks about it and along he goes. And again, this is another very good page. And he's there driving she's driving the Jeep, is she? Yeah, she's driving it, but it looks like he's hanging on, and she's explaining what she's going to do for him. There are three parts to a man's being, she says. The uhune, or conscious, the unihipli, or subconscious, and the kua, or soul. By using the mana life energy, kahunas such as myself can manipulate the parts of man to correct wrongs, cure ills, and punish evildoers. And she goes on about that. And Punisher is kind of only half listening. He says, Edith, do you have a license? You have a license, don't you? License for what? She asks. Thought so, as she drives along crazily. And then they're at her house and home, and she continues her explanations of what she can do and what she's going to do. She says, if a man's spirits feel guilt over past actions, the spirits will often cause psychic and physical ailments, a form of penance. Anyone who has been forgiven for past sins has no guilt and cannot be touched by a spirit attack, be it by the subject's own spirits or spirits directed to attack by a kahuna. In Hawaiian, forgive is called kala. I think your spirits are deeply troubled by guilt over past deeds. One of the effects is your open water phobia. And she continues and says, so do you wish me to kala you to erase your guilt, your phobia? Punisher says, sounds like so much new age mumbo jumbo. And she replies, and this is good in the dialogue, I assure you, it is very old age mumbo jumbo. So Punisher goes along with it. He lies down and he says to himself, I hate being a slave to any weakness. Maybe she can get rid of the problem. So she works her Kala business, and she says, eventually the unforgiven guilt will cause you to have other serious problems. For now, we concentrate on this. I see your guilt for acting like such a hotshot dope when you were young. That is what left you open to your phobia after you stole the raft and drifted out to sea. So Punisher is surprised. How can she know about that? Maybe she's for real. Maybe she can help me. So she says, I've convinced your unconscious spirits to forgive you. You must consciously believe you've been forgiven. If you do, you will be cured. Do you believe? And the Punisher, who's been so skeptical all along, says, yes, I do. And then in his journal, or to himself, he says, maybe. So there you go. Let's continue with the story. She says, good, you'll need to deal with open water again soon. So she's got like some prognostication ability, some prescience. She says, my abilities to view the future are not always consistent, chronological, or reliable, but I've got a strong feeling you're in for a lot of open ocean work. And remember, Rikichi's gone off to the sporting goods store as well, so that's going to come in the next issue. Punisher asks, how can I pay you? Do good, she says. That's a nice panel. Hold on, he says. We have unwelcome visitors, she says to him in reply. And elsewhere we pick up with Microchip. Microchip is tracking where the guys have gone. The bad guys split up into two groups. One set heading upshore towards the marina. Other set heads to tire marks going inland. Can only follow one track. They'd probably keep Tracy and her mom at a hidden inland base. So ultimately he hits a paved road, no more tracks. So how's he going to continue tracking where Tracy's been taken? Back at Edith's. I like the lighting here as well by Greg Wright. This is sunset, and the warm oranges and browns really sell it in the colors. So Edith says, my watch spirit says there are 3 armed men surrounding the house. Got any weapons in the house, asks Frank. Sure, they're all in here. So she's searching through, a little trunk or a compartment in the floor. And this is what she's got. A shark tooth club and a miniature blowgun. And Frank asks, do you have something more modern, a firearm perhaps? I was getting to that, she says. Kept this clean for ages. It was handed down from my ancestors. They took it off the body of Captain Cook over 200 years ago. Hawaiians first thought Cook was a god. We learned that in the previous issue. When they found out otherwise, he was torn apart for souvenirs. My ancestors only wanted the gun. Got powder, flint, and balls for it too. Punisher there just holding his head in dismay. That's it, he asks. Yes, hurry, they're only 100 yards away. Then it'll have to do. So out he goes with Captain Cook's gun. They won't expect me to be outside stalking them, he thinks to himself. That's a good image of him there going into the woods. And then the scene switches to a developing subplot. This guy's been charged by the Kingpin to put together a team of assassins for the Kingpin to use. And he lights upon a gang boss, Damage, in hospital. So this is a callback to the introduction of Damage in, I want to say, issue number 8. Maybe it was issue number 8. Months ago anyway, in the publishing schedule. So the guy is there smoking a cigarette thinking Bullseye was the best assassin the boss ever had, and he was rebuilt from a shattered body. Could it be done again? Because Damage was wrecked by the Punisher's van and its defense features. And then back in Hawaii, back in the present, here are the 3 goons making their way towards Edith's cottage in the woods. Punisher here is behind them now. I'll try to take the last one out fast, swipe his weapon, and down the other 2. Let's see what Cook had to work with. So boom, goes the musket gun, and the ball just plops out the front. So Punisher there curses, and he throws the gun at or no, I think it's he does. He throws the gun at the guy, but he ducks, and then it goes off and shoots Punisher in the chest. But of course, he's got the Kevlar under the Punisher logo, the skull logo. So the guy there is saying, hey, you should be dead many times, but I'm not, thinks Punisher. Grabs the gun from him, knocks him in the head with the butt of the gun, and then he's getting shot at by the other two goons, and he's thinking to himself, got to lead them away from Edith. So nice anchor image there. But Punisher is annoyed because he's cornered himself in the gulch. So he's firing away. That's it. He's dry. He's out of ammo. There's the gulch there. And this hunter guy's coming towards him. I've got a fresh magazine. He's out. Good storytelling here in the art. Let's get past the advertisements. Last page now. Guy comes down into the gulch. Like the lighting here. Very nice lighting. Ralphie, he calls out. Looks like they nailed each other. But he checks on his friend. Ralphie's dead. I'm going to make sure you're dead by putting a pound of lead into you. So Punisher's in big trouble, but he's got his hand around that shark tooth club. Ruse isn't working, he thinks to himself. Kevlar won't stop all those slugs at this range. Sorry, Edith, but we know the Punisher can't die, so we will have to come back next month and see how he gets out of this one. Interesting here, we've got a statement of ownership. Let's see the sales on this. Let's see. We have average number of copies printed each issue during preceding 12 months, 337,000. Single issue nearest to filing date, 317,000. So interesting numbers there on Punisher War Journal. Jim Lee will do much bigger numbers when he takes over X-Men as regular artist after this particular run on War Journal. So some letters here, and what are they concerning? A little bit about Spider-Man, Daredevil and Black Widow there. A letter addressed to Eliodor Brown regarding the Punisher's arsenal. And some advertisements there. Next issue, the conclusion of the Owain homicide horror storyline with more action than you can shake a ticky at. The Punisher and Micro in final combat with Dirk and Jesse in Trauma in Paradise. Okale Maluna, I don't know what that means. So there you go. I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on Jim Lee's penultimate issue of the Punisher War Journal. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section to the video. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like the video on YouTube and share it. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.